Good morning, everybody. Tommy Jordan here, coming to you from Stanley County, North Carolina. And what I'm about to tell you, I have to kind of weigh sometimes if a particular rule applies to a certain city, state, or county, or whatever. In this case, I think this rule applies to anyone, anywhere in the United States, who is currently suffering under the executive orders of a crazy emperor like governor, such as North Carolina right now. The big call that people are issuing is to law enforcement. People are calling out to law enforcement. Hey, sheriff. Hey, chief. Hey, officer friendly. You're not going to enforce these stupid draconian laws, are you? You're putting these police officers on the spot. And that's the problem. You shouldn't do that. We all love our boys and girls in blue. Our men and women that serve. I don't think you could find a bigger advocate that's not wearing a uniform than me. I know what they go through. My best friends are cops from all over this part of this state. I work with our sheriff. I work with a lot of our officers in my job as commissioner. And these people are dedicated, and they're tired and exhausted, and they've been beat on for months now. So do them a favor. Don't ask them in a public forum whether or not they will enforce these governor's rules. And here's why. Chances are, most every sheriff in this state is not enforcing any of the penalties that the governor sets out for violating Executive Order 169 or Executive Order 180. Now, if a business asks you to leave and you don't leave, they will immediately draft you a citation for criminal trespass because you're trespassing. But if a person calls and says, hey, this guy's not wearing a mask, and law enforcement is required to show up, and they are, then they show up, they're probably not going to write you a ticket. You can thank them quietly later. Don't go stand in the Walmart parking lot and say, I told you they wouldn't do it. See, cops are on our side. You're putting cops in the spotlight. Our current our current state of emergency in this state and our current setup of executive orders gives the governor broad powers. And if you don't agree with that, that's fine. Check out my previous video I just did 5 minutes ago about executive orders and how they work. But here's the thing to know that most of the public doesn't know. Our governor currently has the power to take a sheriff, pick him out of his job, and replace him, along with anybody in his department he deems fit, who is not enforcing his laws. He can replace that sheriff with a person that will do exactly what he wants. He has that authority. We know it. I'm a commissioner. I'm telling you, I've read the statute. Our sheriffs have read the statute. So when you ask a sheriff, hey, are you going to enforce these laws? Well, the answer might be no. But if you ask him in front of 10 people, or you ask him on Facebook or in an email where it's going to be written down or in a text message, he's going to probably have to go, yes. Because anything else puts a target on his back. If you want to support law enforcement, shut up. Stop asking them this question. Okay? They're doing what they can the best way they know how. And most law enforcement, all the law enforcement I know in particular, but I can't vouch for all of it, all the law enforcement officers I know in particular are not writing tickets and finding people and arresting people for violating Executive Orders 169 or 180 or any of the others. They're not doing it. But if you call them on it, for example, if the press calls and he goes, hey, Sheriff Smith, what are you going to do if people do so-and-so? He's going to have to give a politically correct answer. Or he paints a big fat target on his back that Emperor Cooper can shoot at, pull him out of his office and put someone in his place. So he has to answer politically. Okay? Doesn't have to act politically, but they have to answer politically. So our cops and our law enforcement and our deputies and our sheriffs and our police chiefs are doing all they can to help us navigate this pandemic and these myriad of ever-changing executive orders coming out of the governor's mansion. But stop putting them on the spot, okay? It doesn't help them. Maybe it makes you feel better for a small minute to have some vindication that you talked to a cop and he said he's not going to enforce it, yay, great. But you're doing him no favors by going and bragging about that, okay? People are trying to help. Don't make them put it in writing. That's all I can say. Don't make them come out and say it in a way they can come back to hurt them later. That's it. If you got any more questions about executive orders or why they do or don't work, or why they are or are not valid right now, see my previous video or file a comment and I'll be glad to ask, and I'll be glad to answer it. And if you're not in North Carolina, you're on your own because I have a hard enough time keeping track of my own state statutes. I can't do yours too. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Stay safe. Happy belated Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Chinese New Year. Hope I covered them all. Stay safe, guys.